Hey everyone, Colby Cox here. Welcome back to GAF University. So today we're going to go back to F&G. We're going to take a look at another one of their products, but we're going to take a look at the annuity side with the Accumulator Plus 7 and 10. We'll do a quick overview, show you how to illustrate it with the software, and then get into an illustration. All right, so let's get started. So the Accumulator Plus 7 and 10 is a growth or accumulation product. Okay, so no income rider, nothing like that, straight growth. So not a lot of moving pieces to it. You can see the eligible ages here. Qualified 0 to 85. I'm sorry, non-qualified 0 to 85, qualified 18 to 85. The premium, the minimum is $10K. Now, this is a flexible premium, so you can put that $10K in. You can put more in later. You could do one lump sum as long as you put in $10K. But you can add to it if a client wants to. You can go over $1 million, but you're going to need some home office approval. It does have a death benefit. It will be either the account value or the minimum guaranteed surrender value, whichever one, if they're in that surrender period or not. And you can take withdrawals after the first year. You can take up to 10% without penalty. Anything above that will be penalized if you're in that surrender period. So here's the surrender schedule. Obviously, the 7 is 7 years, the 10 is 10 years. This is for anything in year 1 or anything above 10% between years 2 and 7 or 10. And it's pretty simple. It's 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and then 0 with the 7. And then it's 9, 9 all the way down to 1. And then 0 in year 11. Okay, so you have to be aware of that with your clients if they're going to take some of that money, to know that there are some surrenders just like any other annuity. There are some riders that cover unexpected healthcare costs. You've got the home healthcare rider, the nursing home care rider, and the terminal illness. The home healthcare, you've got to be provided by a licensed home healthcare provider. Care must begin at least 1 year. You'll notice that with all three of these, it's got to be at least 1 year after the effective date of the annuity. You can't perform at least 2 of the 6 activities of daily living for at least 60 days and expect to continue for at least 90 days after requesting that withdrawal. Okay, so there is a little bit of a waiting period in order to get it. And then even once you've waited that year, you can't perform 2 of the 6 activities for at least 60, and then another 90 is projected. The nursing home care, it's a licensed nursing facility. Again, it's got to be at least 1 year. It must be confined to a nursing home for at least 60 days. Once it's been those 60 days, you can access that rider. And then terminal illness is where the doctor says you have a life expectancy of 1 year or less. You see a lot of with the life side, 2 years, especially in the state of Texas, but this one is 1 year. And diagnosis has to be at least 1 year after the contract effective. There are no fees associated with this annuity except for the crediting strategies. They have 2 different options. You have ones with charge and ones without charge, just like the path setter that we took a look at last week. So we'll look at these rates here in a second, but that's the only fee attached to it. It's 1.25 annually for each one. Okay, so the fees can stack up if you continue to go with the rider charge ones, but the upside is greater with the caps and the par rates. So we'll take a look at those right now. All right, so you can see the strategies here. We're looking at these 2 middle ones that we're highlighting right now. And like I said, there's no charge and there's charge for both of them. Okay, you've got a fixed strategy. For the 7, it's 1, and for the 10, it's 1. You've got a 1 year point-to-point with a par rate, but it's only available on the charge, okay, that par rate being 35%. So if you go with no charge, you won't have that option. You've got a 1 year monthly point-to-point with cap. Notice no charge on the 7, 1.8, charge 2.6. The no charge for the 10 is 1.8, but the charge is 2.7. Now, what does monthly point-to-point with cap mean? It's strictly every month they're going to take a look at from this day next month, and they're going to see what the strategy does. That is monthly point-to-point with a cap, and those are the caps. Monthly average is going to see what the market does over the year. It's going to take each month, add it up, divided by 12, and that's the monthly average, okay? And this one has a cap as well. You notice 3.5, 6.75, and the 10 is a 4.5, and the charge is 9. So like I said, you can see with the charge, if you're willing to pay the 1.25, you got higher potential, you got higher caps, higher pars. You've got a 1-year annual point-to-point with cap. This is pretty standard across the board with most policies in the industry. 3.56, 4.257. And then you have a declared rate on the gain, 3.25, 5.25, 3.5, 5.5. What's declared rate? Very simply, it means if the market is positive in any way, you get the declared rate. So in this case, let's take a look at the 10 charge 5.5. So even if the market does 1, you get 5.5. Market does 20, you get 5.5. That's it. If the market's 0 or negative anyway, you get 0. Okay, so that's what the declared rate is. And then you have to go all the way down to the bottom for the Barclays. All those were the S&P. This one's the Barclays Trailblazer. It has a 2-year point-to-point spread. Notice the spread right now is 0. Okay, so basically what the market does, that's what you get. And then it's got the 2-year point-to-point with the par rate, 110, 150, 135, 170. All right, so remember what a par is. What do you participate in that market growth? So if my par is 170 and the market does 10, I get 17. If my par rate's 50% and the market does 10, I get 5. So that's the percentage you participate in that market growth. So par rates are pretty nice on the 2-year, but again, you have to remember with the 2-year, you have to wait 2 years before you can see what that strategy did. If your client's not willing to wait 2 years, they want to see something every year, maybe stay away from that strategy. But those are the strategies, pretty plain and simple. But now what we're going to do is we're going to transition into the software to show you how to illustrate it. All right, here we are with the Accumulator Plus 10, as you can see right here, state of Texas, since we're in Texas. And now this software, pretty simple. There's not much to it because, again, it's a growth product. There's no income parts to it. So all you're really going to do is how much money, what are your strategies, and then boom, illustrated. So we're going to go tax status. We're going to go qualified. We're just going to put in a date of birth of 05/05/1966. I'm just going with a 55-year-old, okay? Let's just say they've got $250,000, so I'm going to go $250,000. You can specify premiums if they want to put more in, but I'm going to keep it at just $250,000 and that's it. All right, let's just say we've got a client that doesn't want to pay fees. They don't want to pay that 1.25, so we're going to go with the without charge strategies. So I'm just going to mix it up, no rhyme or reason to it. I'm going to put 20 there. I'm going to come down here, I'm going to put 10 in fixed, that way they always get a little something. Declared rate without charge, let's put 10 there. Let's see, that's a with charge, without charge, annual point to point, I'll put 20. Monthly point to point, I'll put 25. How much do I have left? I have 15% left. Let's just go monthly average without charge of 15. All right, so you can kind of see there, like I said, there's no real rhyme or reason. I'm just diversifying it up. You saw the strategies, you saw the caps and the par rates, you decide what's best for your client, okay? But I'm going to roll with this, and you can see 100%. That's it. Now, there's no income, but you can put withdrawals there if you want. I'm not going to. I'm just going to go straight accumulation, and then I'll break it down on the ages from the illustration. RMD, if they're of that age, this client's not, so I'm not going to worry about it. And then tax sheltered annuity rider, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go, like I said, very simple, very straightforward. Here's the money. Here's the strategies. What does it look like? Okay, so then we're just going to go right here to illustrations and let that illustration pop up. All right, so here we are. Here's the illustration, 28 pages. We're going to go over a couple of the different pages that you would want to show and highlight. So obviously we have our client up here, and we have the 250K qualified, state of Texas, assumed issue date of August 8, 2021, issue age. All right, what is it? The policy, this page right here, page 3, shows the strategies, what they are, and what is my allocation. Okay, so we got the little pie graph that shows here's all the allocations where they're at. So when you're explaining this to the client, you say, hey, this is the Barclays 2-year point-to-point with a spread. The current participation is 135. That current spread is 0. Okay, 20% there. What does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. And you explain it. Okay, we're going to keep going down. All right, this is guaranteed. This is worst case scenario. So this is the market from this point forward does nothing. Okay, I like showing this. I like to show them, hey, this is worst case scenario. Is this projected to happen? Is this likely to happen? Probably not. But just in case, I want you to see what happens if the market from this point forward makes nothing. All right, so we've got that $250,000 right there. Notice this is the strategies and the rates. Notice it is making a a 0.1 to a 0.11 to a 0.12, because remember I put some in the fixed, all right? And because I put a little bit in the fixed, they're always making a little bit of money, but obviously that's not anything really still. Okay, we have the account value. Notice it does go up because we are making a little bit of money. We have that surrender value. Okay, and then we've got, I'm sorry, the surrender value, and then we've got the minimum guaranteed surrender value, and then the death benefit. Okay. We keep scrolling down. We're gonna go to page 6. This is where we show the hypothetical. Hey, this is what it could do, projected to do, what it looks like. Notice our strategies anywhere from 1 or close to 0 to 10. I even see a 12 right here. There's a 15. All right, because remember, every 2 years is when that Barclays comes into effect, and because if we take the averages, and if we just take what the market usually does over a 2-year period, usually it's up. And in this case, it's significantly up. So, I mean, the way strategies, the way they work is they're just going to make some money. They'll never lose because it's indexed again. And we aren't paying for any of the strategies that have charges. So sometimes we're making a little, we can make a lot. Most of the time it's going to be anywhere in between that 5, 6, maybe 4 to 6 range, okay, as you can kind of see in this illustration. Same thing, we got the surrender value, minimum guaranteed surrender value, and then death benefit, all right? Now this account value, this is the money that client can touch, okay? So let's just go to year 5. Client's got 314K. Remember, you cannot, or you can, but if you touch above 10%, in those first 10 years, you're going to be penalized. So 10% is $31,000. Okay. So he can take that 31K, or he could say, I don't need that. I need 10. Give me 10. And he can get that. Now, if you saw earlier, when he wants to take out money, he can take out 4 systematic, four non-systematic draws per year. So he could say, hey, give me 10K. Well, in 3 months, I need another 10K. He could do that as well. Okay. Obviously, taking money out means that the account value is going to go down, which means that 10% is going to lower in the future. Okay. But pretty much straightforward right there. We continue to have current rates. We have a lot of, what does this illustration talk about? What is it saying? What is guaranteed? What's current? Some different scenarios, some different how the strategies work in the most recent, a low period or a high period based on interest and earnings. Okay, same thing there, same thing there, same thing right there. Okay, those are all the same. We've got definitions. What's a death benefit? What's an index? What's a cap? What's a par? What's a spread? I like this page because it talks in depth about how each strategy works. Okay, now this is probably might be a little too technical for clients. All right, I usually try to keep it simple, but these are the exact definitions of each strategy. Okay, and that goes on for a couple pages. We have the surrender period right there, what the free withdrawal is. We talked about that earlier. Okay, how can you do annuity options? Again, the strategies, some more about the strategies, and then required minimum distribution. If you were to need it at age 73, what would that look like? Okay, what is market value adjustment? And then it's the signature page. So, I mean, I kind of breezed right through that. The main parts being page 3, talking about the strategies, how do they work? How did I divvy it up? And then the next parts being so that's the strategies right there. Then go into that guaranteed page, talking about worst case scenario, then go into the hypotheticals. Okay, and that's pretty much it. All right, like I said, pretty straightforward annuity, not a whole lot of moving pieces. It is a great option for your clients if they're looking for accumulation. Some of those caps are really strong, especially with the charges. I mean, there was one that had a 9, and that's pretty fantastic, especially on the annuity side. So F&G is definitely a place you should look for your clients if they're looking for accumulation. And the great thing is we always divvy up annuities by, do you want to access it within 10 years or do you want to access it past 10 years? And this one you could do both. You can get the 7 for under 10 years, you get the 10 for over 10 years, okay? It's a very flexible, nice solid annuity from F&G. And that is the F&G Accumulators Plus 7 and 10. As always, if you have any questions, please put in the comments. Send us a message. Send us to your agents. Get them to subscribe because we got more videos coming out over the next few days and weeks. Y'all have a great day.